Hey yo, this is another episode of the Steven from the Old Time Podcast. Listen to my dad, he's awesome.
Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Stephen Alltime, and I serve to you as the host of the All Time Podcast, where we bring you nothing but the best in hip hop and wrestling, all combined in one. And tonight, we bring to you the WrestleMania of podcasting, the WrestleMania episode of the year end review of 2024. And my co host this evening, the incomparable editor, your favorite French Canadian, Milenko.
Hey yo, what's up, everyone? You forgot to mention I'm Vladimir Guerrero, half brother that never made it to the league, but I would have been a top hitter in the major league. Knock him out. What's up?
And our very special guest, his second time on the podcast this evening.
Yes, you might know me as the ECW of hip hop, the Bobby the Brain Heenan of podcasting, the manager with bad intentions, 1/4 of the Red Star Terrorcide Squad, aka Dr. Hellmouth, aka Carl from the Abyss podcast,
What an intro.
And my dad.
and Papa all time.
It's great to have you here. That was a fucking incredible intro. I don't even know what to say from that one.
I wanted to make you proud.
I really, really think that was probably the best intro ever, better than any of the ones I've done. How are you?
I'm great. Excited. Did a little bit of homework here.
Yeah, you have a big paper there full of notes, a bunch of things going on all at the same time.
Yep.
Malika, do you have any notes, or are you just going this one on the fly?
No, impossible. This is a homework episode.
Because that hair that you have going on, it feels like you've been doing nothing for the whole day.
You do look very put together.
How can I be not doing it? No, I've been working all day. I got tattooed. My knee got tattooed. I suffered the whole fucking time.
You're complaining about sound?
All my notes here. You have all my. Oh, you wanna? I can't go on that one.
No,
but all my notes
that.
are here. All my notes are right here on the second monitor.
So the people listening, we're gonna bring you the year-end lists, the year-end review in hip hop. I'm super excited to have Karl here from the Abyss podcast. Before we get started, consuming the music, consuming all these albums that came out this year, I think, to me, it was probably one of the most difficult years in music because so much came out. Mm-hmm. Like, let's be honest, there is too much that came out to the point where Rock Marcy just dropped that album with Alchemist, and I didn't even want to listen to it.
But you did.
We did, and I appreciate that send over that you gave me. But again, it's December. We need to take it easy a bit. I understand the artists. They want to put out music. They want to continuously put out music. They want to continuously give us bodies of work. But at some point, we need to really be able to intake the music, go back to the music. And this year was very difficult. I found it very difficult for me. How many albums really came out? Let's be honest. Over what? 80?
Oh, I think that's a really shy estimate.
Really?
Way more. Oh, yeah. Way more.
Yeah.
Way more.
I mean, several hundred.
Well, sure. The things that we actually listen to.
Like, I mean, just in the underground hip hop genre, I mean, there was a lot of rappers out there putting out multiple projects.
Fuck, I guess I can't. I don't know how to count.
Way more than 80. That's for sure. That's for sure.
So the Rock Marcy coming out in December to me was like, okay, we could have waited till January 1st, January 2nd, but look, listen, thank you for coming out. Unfortunately, right now, I can't fucking put my full attention on. I can't. Right? Mm-hmm. Well, I wanted to go back to listen to a bunch of these albums. I wanted to make that list that we always do every year. I think right now in hip hop, this year is a very important year. Okay. But Karl, you mentioned the underground hip hop, the abyss of hip hop. A lot of these artists that are coming out, and we'll get to them, have been shining this year. I've spent enormous amount of money on purchasing CDs this year. I'm broke. I can't buy anything else anymore. Milenko stopped buying CDs. Karl, you don't collect anymore. But a lot of these artists have been flourishing, have been shining. There's so much great music coming out. So I think it's very important for us and the platforms we have to really put emphasis on artists and really focus on these artists because they've been doing a great job. And to me, 2024 has been one of my favorite years in hip hop.
Yep.
Right?
Yep.
Milenko, well, I don't know what you think. You especially with the mainstream, you've put emphasis on that throughout the episodes this year. The mainstream to you, the Schoolboy Q's, the Futures, the Vince Staples, you've been really, into that stuff too. And it's been a couple of years where you really were able to get to that side of hip hop. But there's so much coming out, and it's one of my favorite years of hip hop, and I really want to get into it, and I really want to focus on these artists. But Karl, how was it for you consuming music this year?
I mean, difficult. I think for the artist specifically, I think it's fine because once you have your fan base, you can release as much material as you feel like you want to, and they'll digest it when they digest it. It's most difficult on people like us that are trying to keep up. And if you're trying to keep up with releases, you're going to drown. It's inevitable. I will tell you, I've got a great list, but there are going to be a bunch of people that are left off of this that, had fantastic years, had fantastic albums, had great production. It's so much. It's, a lot of the lists that will come out, especially in the underground, although I think this is somewhat true for mainstream as well. I think the lists are going to be very, very different person to person because of what you personally are looking for and consuming. And there's just, I mean, it's a cornucopia of tremendous projects. So I was happy. It's the best. I didn't think it would get better than 2023, which was amazing. And I think it did. If I were to put my list of tops from 2023 against the tops of 2024, I think my 2024s, most of them would win out. I think everybody's elevated themselves and continued to progress. So when you talk about, Rome Streets, or you talk about, any of these artists, SD Nack, Danielson, Mickey Diamond, any of these people, and you can say the same, Kendrick. Kendrick has 100% elevated himself from a very high level to begin with. It's just been a year for amazing progression.
I totally
Milenko.
agree. I totally agree. And again, we talked about it all year. For people that think hip hop is dead, there's not a worse time to say that.
Yeah.
It's you have everything you want from old timers releasing albums. We had the Ghostface this year. There's still, I mean, Ice Cube released,
Dre and Snoop.
Snoop. Like we have so much, and we have the new artists coming out with the new sound. We have drill that's still going in Chicago. We have in New York, we have the New York drill that is on the mainstream with the female rappers now. And we have the underground that's more alive than ever. So, and they're all a bunch of killers, and they're releasing 4, 5, 6 projects a year. So like this year, doing this list was super difficult for me last year. So this year, every time I listened to something and we ranked it on the podcast, or me personally, I had it in my notes. So doing this list, I'm so happy I had those albums. There's so many albums that during the last week I went like, oh, I forgot about this one. Let me go back. And I'm gonna say it right off the bat, okay? There's albums I didn't even listen. Denzel Curry didn't have the time to listen to this year. And I think the biggest release that I missed on is the Mac Homie. Mac Homie, I didn't even give it a spin.
Really?
I didn't even give it a spin yet.
I did, and it didn't make my list anyway.
So I think that could
And
have
it was a
made me
great
switch.
album. Still,
It
yeah.
could have been a great game changer for me. So yeah, I mean, for music lovers right now, you can't complain. You really can. You have something new every time, every week.
Yep.
Crazy.
I just love where hip hop is. I keep mentioning this every episode. It just I love the space that hip hop is in, man. And we have these platforms that we're able to discuss with each other, these albums that come out and these artists that are really putting themselves onto the next level with the music they put out, or the producers that are able to put themselves on another level. I just love the space that it's in, and the platforms like I mentioned that we have, like with Karl, what you and Luki and Primo do with the Abyss, man, and you're able to showcase all these amazing artists, man. You guys give them that lane where they're able to express themselves, and for people to be like, who, like, let me really dig into this artist, man. And I do it, like I discover people because of you guys. It's just so amazing to see, like Shoddy. That's one artist. Like this year,
Shout out Shoddy 305.
like I got into him this year, and the two projects he put out. One of them, the one with Machacha, and my yes. Can you please send me that in the mail? Thanks, I appreciate it. And
which version?
Oh,
fuck, that's nice.
That's a sick one.
Shout out to the Press Collective because they keep me.
That's amazing.
With new shit.
That's a lot of stuff.
The Enzo Joe. Oh, that's not even it. I still got a huge pile of cassettes, and I mean, they just keep sending me dope shit. So
that's amazing.
Yeah.
But like Shadi was an artist that I got into this year, and I never really listened to him in 2023 or 2022 and whatever. And it's just, there's so much to get into. There's so many artists to discover, and you guys were able to put me onto these artists. You did that with a year ago with Vega. You know what I mean? Like, and it's okay not to be into an artist right away. It's okay to get onto an artist a year later or 2 years later. It doesn't matter, because there's so much music that you need to consume, that you want to take your time. And when you discover the artist, you want to take your time with that artist. You want to get the full body of work and understand what the artist is trying to do, and to grow with that artist.
Yep. Definitely.
So let's get into these lists, because we're going to be talking for a very long time. We have 3 lists that we want to put out. Karl, you're excited. Pause. We're going to give you the top 5 producers of the year. We're going to give you the top 5 artists of the year. And we're going to give you our top 10 albums of the year. Let's start.
And what we hope to see in 2025.
Yes, absolutely. Good. Thanks for reminding me. 2025, I can't even imagine where it's going to be, because if these artists are working as hard as they are working in 2023, 2024, 2025 is going to be a different level of artistry out there. And the top 10 albums from 10 to 1. Let's get into the top 5 producers of the year.
Let's go.
Karl, since you're the guest, actually you're a family member. It's your second time. Let's start off with you. What's your top 5 producers of 2024?
Okay, so I am going to preface this. It's what I've always done with these lists, and it's because I'm super emotional. So my orders change a lot. So I'm not going to give you a definitive which one's number 1. I'm just going to give you my top 5 in no particular order, because tomorrow those could flip-flop really easily. Okay. So I'll start out with The Alchemist. I think, he had The Genuine Articulate, which was an EP dropped, Black and White's the Hit Boy album, Heads I Win, Tails You Lose with Ono, obviously the recent Rock Marcy Skeleton Key, but it's as much for having his beat on Meet the Grams.
Yep.
And what that does for hip hop and for the underground space of hip hop. And we had talked about it before. I won't go too in depth on it, but when you have, someone like Kendrick using Alchemist beats, and Alchemist is on the very top tier of underground because he's kind of in both worlds, right? But he's somebody who heavily works with underground artists. It's going to bring people who aren't in this lane to us. And so I think that's a monumental thing. Body Bag Ben, I thought had a fantastic year. Kevorkian List with Jay Royale and Milano Constantine. Darkness and Other Colors with Chino XL. RIP Chino.
Yes.
Kawasaki
crazy.
Killers with Vega. And out of Vega's 3 drops this year, it's still my favorite because me hearing Vega and his rhyme style over beats was just like goosebumps. Good Times, Bad Times with XP the Marksman. So I thought he had a really great year. Machacha, unbelievable amount of projects this year. Several instrumentals, but some notables: The Port with Substance 810, Cult Classique with Andre de Saint was a really great album. French Laundry with Maze Overlay I thought was really fantastic. Wreak Havoc with Reek Osama, and both of the Kunst Art albums I thought were great. Big Ghost had 3 drops this year, but I felt like all 3 of those were heavily replayed. So there's the Crime Apple Bazooka, there's Last Exit to Crooklyn with Eddie Kane, which was a beautiful follow-up to their first run, and then Gucci Gambinos.
Are you
And
going
then
for okay, I just want to save time.
uh-huh.
We have the same list for now. So let's see if the last one is the same as me. I think it is. We'll see. I have exactly the same list. Exactly the same list. Go
Well,
ahead.
we'd both be stupid if we didn't have Future Wave on there.
Hey, there you go. There you go.
Because I mean, you get Dirt Wave 1. I'll
That's
put Dirt Wave
crazy.
2, even though I haven't really had, obviously the opportunity to delve into it. Bushman Bodega, amazing project with Danielson. Stone Temple Pyrex with SD Knack, and then the Future Wave McFly album that he dropped at the beginning of the year. So, I think Future Wave. It's not because I'm Canadian, I promise you. There's something special about Future Wave. I think he just does these very specific projects. And I think he's very measured in what he does. And if he wanted to drop, 10 more albums on us, I think he could. I just think he's very, very planned about how he approaches things. So I do give a special mention to the standouts, the Honorable Volume 2 and the Please Don't Think I'm Acting Funny with Bub Rock were really good albums. So
wow, that's okay. Look, that's great. I swear to you, it's the same list. I'll give it. I have an order. Me, I had an order. That's the only difference. Okay. So 5, I have Machacha. 4, Buddy Bag Ran. 3, Alchemist. 2, Big Ghost, and the Future Wave as number 1.
That's a solid order. I can't argue with it.
Honestly, look, at the top of my head, just to make something different, I'll give it to I'll special mention to Pete Rock, because Pete Rock, what he did with Common, that album is fantastic. And sonically, I enjoyed that album. I wasn't never on the mood to listen to the whole thing because it's a especially long album. But Pete Rock, with the experience he did it was a great A to me, and he's still in form. And that's pretty much it. I had Big Ghost. How can you deny Big Ghost? And again, to defend, because me too, I'm Canadian too, and Future Wave is not because he's Canadian. Honestly, the year that he had, to me, just Bushman Bodega and Dirt Wave 1. There you go. You have your argument.
Both of those are in my top 10 albums of the year list.
So
Stone Temple Pyrex is an honorable mention.
Yes. So
me too.
There you go. So there you go. Like it's a crazy year for Future Wave, and that sound that he has. I said it on the reviews, but even though all this sound, every time he sounds a bit different, he has his signature already, and that's something that is. I mean, as a producer, if you have your signature sound that I can pick up right now, it's great. I mean, you hear 2 notes in, and I'm like, oh, that's Future Wave. You know it already, and that's tough to have. Really tough to have.
Yep.
Look, I have 3 of the ones you had. Okay, I'm gonna go with number 5 with Jamil Honesty. Okay.
Oh.
The projects he's done.
Year.
He had a really good year, and the production he did with Big Trip and Ferris Blusa. I wanted to put Jamil on my artist of the year, but I really wanted to, put emphasis and showcase what he's able to do as a producer as well.
Yep.
And he was really able to give us such solid bodies of work as a producer. Like,
very true.
Those 3 albums, man, like they don't sound the same. Like, he gave that walkout music with Big Trip, and then he was really able to tap into that different sound with Ferris Blusa. Like Ferris Blusa is really calculated, very mellow. The beats, are very like low, but he was able to elevate Ferris Blusa as an MC with the type of beats that he was able to lay him with.
Yeah. And the difference is Big Trip is a gorilla in a china shop. So
yeah,
it really is.
Like I've said it all year. Like Big Trip and Jamil Honesty music is wrestling music. That's the music you want to walk out to. You want to fucking give somebody a clothesline from hell with that music.
Yeah.
So like he did such a really, really good job with those projects. Number 4, Superior. Every year, look, I don't care if he puts out 1 project, 2 projects, 3 projects, 100 projects. The sound that Superior gives you is exquisite. Like
his production value is top notch.
Like what he was able to do with that Serial album. Look, fully in Spanish. Okay. Like he really gave somebody his best production. And guys like myself, Karl, Milenko, I'm sure a bunch of people that are into the underground, like, will listen to that Spanish album because of what Superior was able to bring forth. Right. And I said it's like the gods coming, the clouds moving, and the gods coming to earth. That's the sound he was able to give us. It's it's such a soundtrack style of music. It's like what's his name from 9 Inch Nails trying to
Trent Reznor.
Trent Reznor. Remember when Trent Reznor did Social Network soundtrack? Yep. Like it sounds like that, man. It's so like there's such a sound to it, but there's such like a movie theme to it.
Right.
And I listened to Serial because of how the album sounds and how the beats sound. It makes it more interesting. And yes, I understand Spanish to a certain extent, but like I'm able to separate the beats and the vocals. You know what I mean? Like it gives so much. There's so much to it. Even if there's not that much drums or hardly any drums or never any drums, there's that thematic to what Superior is able to give us.
100%.
And Machacha, like, fuck, really? Are we going to really talk about what Machacha was able to give us this year? Like, he just fucking killed everything. Like, there's just a list of what he was able to give us. Big Ghost. He put out 3, 4 projects. Was it 3 or 4? 3. Tell me if any of those sound the same. Seriously speaking, this Bazooka
but they all sound like Big Ghost.
And like the last exit to Crooklyn, have we ever heard Big Ghost produced that way? Was that ever a sound that was given to us by Big Ghost? Man, he was able to excel and elevate himself on that production.
I think there were a lot of similarities to A Tree Grows in Brooklyn with how he approached that soundscape. But again, he gave it a different feel because it was supposed to have a different mood. It was a different period for Eddie Kane, and he expressed that incredibly well.
Yeah. Absolutely, and the jazz feel to it that was given. Like, I'll repeat myself again, like I've been doing. It's just I felt like I was in Brooklyn. I felt like I was
Yeah,
walking through Brooklyn throughout the whole album.
Yep.
I'll give it to
Like
you. And there's another thing as well about Big Ghost that made the list for me. Is Special Machinery. He remixed that, and the way I like it better than the original.
The Gronic.
Yeah, I
Mhm.
like it better than the original.
was that this year?
That
Yeah.
was last year, technically.
Technically,
I counted for this year.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's February it came out.
But there again, like what Big Ghost did with that album, what Big Ghost did with Gucci Gambino's,
Mhm.
what he's doing is drawing these really incredible parallels to that golden era that we love, and showing you how much alike yet how different these two eras are.
Yeah.
And how you can appreciate both for what they both bring. And I I don't know, there's a like a super villain type level genius to what he does.
yep,
100%.
yeah,
100%.
and I
And
I I,
I
I
think he's
praise
gonna
him.
be on the list. I think he's gonna be on the list for many years to come.
Mhm.
I'm honestly, I think since we're doing this, he's been on my top 5 yearly, and I
Yep.
think he's gonna continue to do it.
Yeah.
I
The
really think so.
the one thing that stands out to me about Big Ghost and Carl, you said you the Big Ghost sound. To me, there's certain styles of Big Ghost that you're like, yeah, this is a Big Ghost production. But what he was able to give us this year, I don't think it's his original type of sound.
Mm-mm.
Like he was able to create a movie for us. He was able to tap into the artist, elevate the artist as well, and give that art. Look, Crime Apple's second album with Big Ghost doesn't sound like the first Crime Apple. The first,
No.
like the Eddie Kane second album doesn't sound like the first Eddie Kane. You know what I mean? The Gucci Gambinos doesn't sound like the Gucci Ghosts.
No, but there was definitely a feel to all four of the Gucci Ghosts. So when
Mhm.
he wants to, he can continue to create in a certain style. But there again, Two Nights in Marrakesh. When I first listened to that, the Al Divino record, I told Big Ghost it felt like I was getting beaten up in an alley. Like that, like it's so aggressive, and I wasn't expecting it. And yet when I listened to it, I still knew it was Big Ghost.
Yeah.
But he's very versatile in
Mhm.
how he approaches. But there again, that speaks a lot to um the variety of music that he listens to, because he's also into old school heavy metal and different genres of music. The same with Future Wave, Stone Temple Pyrex.
Mhm.
I mean, it's a nod to Stone Temple Pilots.
Yep.
You can tell that these guys don't just bury themselves into hip hop.
No,
And
you
adding all
shouldn't.
of those influences gives you that original sound that you have, which they
Yeah,
both do in spades.
absolutely.
Yeah,
And my number one, our number one, all three of us, is Future Wave, because just his attention to
remarkable.
his attention to detail in his production, in his sound. Like when I listen to Future Wave, I'm able to pick up on the background sounds that he's able to use in his production that makes him like that puts him a different category than a lot of the producers. Like you listen to Bushman Bodega, I'm listening to the sounds in the background, those specific types of sounds, Dirt Wave, Volume 1 and 2, the different sounds he's able to use. Stone Temple Pyrex, like I was listening to that today and I was just like, I was picking up on differences throughout each and every song and how, like, I don't understand how he does it. I'll be honest with you. I'm not good at, like, I've never produced music. I've never seen somebody really produce music. I've listened to bands make music and stuff like that. But like, how is he in a studio and he's able to put different sounds everywhere and create that into like one? Like to me, it's mind blowing.
You know what it
Like it,
reminds me of? I don't know if you've ever seen like a documentary of like Disney artists working,
Hmm.
but you have so many different pieces, right?
Mhm.
And what they'll do is they'll start out with color palettes. So you'll see on all of these drawing things, these little swatches of color. Okay, so in the reds, these are the reds and these are the hues of red that we're going to use. And these are the hues of blue. And, this is the overall. And I kind of feel like he starts kind of gathering samples and soundscapes based off of a couple of general things.
Mhm.
And then he allows that to expand and float through to make everything cohesive, yet each individual track sound unique.
It's magic. It's brilliant. It's like, man, like the last look, him and Big Ghost, the last what 5 years have been just excelling to a different level.
Yeah,
And I'm
just
just so
banger after
happy.
banger.
I'm so happy that they're here, man. And I think a lot of people need to respect them as some of the, if not the best producers in hip hop, commercially, underground, that fucking mid level. I don't care.
Yeah.
Like these
Yeah,
guys are just
if we're just talking catalog alone, if we're
Yeah.
just talking quality of catalog, I'd put them up against Havoc. I'd put them up against anybody.
absolutely,
100%. I totally
absolutely,
agree. Totally
Yeah.
agree. I think
man.
they should use more. Those guys should like we talk about Muddy Waters too. I wish Redman could use one of these guys to make a beat. Like all the we talked about on the review with Lloyd Banks. I wish Lloyd Banks would come and use more of these guys, like a Machacha Lloyd Banks Halloween.
I've
Album.
been saying that.
Oh,
So I will say this: you've got Gucci Gambinos and you've got Method Man again appearing on a Big
yeah.
Ghost record, right? Um, these people are aware of what's going on.
Yep.
Fat Joe hangs out with UFO Feed. You don't think he knows all the players in this underground?
Yeah.
Busta Rhymes talks about it. All of these quote unquote old heads from the golden era, they're tapped in and they know who's doing what. And I think we're going to start seeing more of that.
I hope so. I
The
hope so.
brilliance of these producers, man, the things they would be able to make for some of these artists, to me, is just like I can't even like I sit down and I'm like, okay, imagine he would work with him, he would work with him. Imagine this person would give Lloyd Banks. He would, like there's so much that goes on in my mind. Like it's just look, props to all of them, man. I just can't wait to see what else they bring to the table.
Yep.
Let's do artists.
Sure.
Let's do artists. Milenko, let's start off with you because really can't wait to see what you're gonna put on this fucking list.
Número 5. Número 5, I mean, hard worker of the year, Pro Dillinger, 110%. 110%. And this to me as well, the top 5 artists, I think is pretty much a list that I don't have a ranking for it. I'll give it 1 to 5, but they all together, I mean, when you're artist, you are an artist. So Pro Dillinger to me killed it on the underground. I think every project that he did was passionate, and you see the evolution between his first projects and what he's doing now. So props to him. We had him on the podcast. He gave us his time. You guys talked about with him as well multiple times.
Mm-hmm.
The guy is just generous, and the heart that he shows on his albums is something that's tough to match.
Yeah.
For a mainstream guy, I have 2. I have Schoolboy Q because he came back on 5 years. He's been doing features. He's been on the producing side on his albums. He did a song with Rome Street that I enjoy on a Derringer beat that was incredible. And of course, I have K. Dot. Kendrick just JNX just fortified it this year on the mainstream. I think there's no one topping that. We staying with the umbrella with Mickey Diamond. I think, man, in this when I went back and listened to all these albums, and I went like, God damn, he's doing it again. He's doing it again this year. I'll put him there because the guy is just unstoppable. Honestly, he never slips. He doesn't slip, and he's leading something that could be really big, really big, really big. Him and Pro can put a whole scene up there, and I think they're already doing it, but they can go even farther. But To me, I just expect to go up. That's my expectation for 2025 for those guys. I just expect the next level.
If you don't like Mickey
100%
Diamond,
agree.
if you don't like Mickey Diamond and Pro Dillinger, go fuck yourself straight off the bat like that. I'm being serious. I want to challenge anybody that comes up to me and says that they don't like Mickey Diamond and Pro Dillinger.
Yeah,
You have
you went to war with one on Instagram. I saw you.
yeah, because I
You
don't
went to war.
understand. Like I don't understand how you can't like. Okay, it's okay. You don't have to think that they're the best, but give props where props is due. Like, I'm sorry. Like, fuck you.
I just don't understand how can you listen to that flow and those punchlines and be like, oh, that's okay. Like, what the hell? You listen to rap or no? Like those punchlines and the way he brings those lines together. I think he's still doing it, man. He's still doing it. Mickey Diamond been there. And last artist passed away this year, Ka just show up.
Excellent choice.
Give us this album, and it breaks my heart, bro. It really breaks my heart that we have this dude is probably the most underrated. This guy is the one. Sometimes back then it was MF Doom, but pretty much now everybody knows MF Doom. I think
Yeah.
he is at that level of back then of MF Doom when he was really underground. But now I think Kai is just what he left us with incredible. So
Where Doom was supposed to be the worst of us,
mhm,
I think
Mhm.
Ka was the best of us.
mhm.
You
Yeah.
know, if Doom is the the perfect villain, Ka was a superhero.
Yep.
And completely selfless. He created for passion and for
Moves in
passion alone.
silence. Moves in
And
silence.
yeah, I don't think it was ever about the notoriety. I don't think
Mhm.
it was ever about the respect. I don't think it was ever about the, adulation or the gratitude. I think it was just about bars. I think he had something he wanted to say, and he said it more beautifully than any other rappers ever said anything.
Mm-hmm. Yep, 100%, 100%. That's why I had to put him here. That's my 5 right there.
Beautiful.
Karl.
All right. So I've got some honorable mentions that I'll put out there first. Estinak, I think, had a fantastic year.
Mm-hmm.
Papitos 2, Systematically, We Were Never Free, Stone Temple Pyrex, great albums.
Mm-hmm.
Substance 810 had a really great year. The Port with Machacha, Lion's Share 3, Wise Words, Catacomb.
Mm-hmm.
Can I add? Can I add one thing? Sorry, I don't want to interrupt you.
No, you're good.
Just what he's done with his clothing line.
Substance, yeah, I've got several pieces.
Like he was really able to separate himself and not just only focus on the music, like
and the marketing and the packaging.
Sick.
That's
fucking sick.
It's got an ingredients label.
That's sick.
Authenticity 100%, hustle 100%, integrity 100%, THC 100%. But just brilliant mind, great execution, and a really, really great dude. I'm gonna mention Ty Ferris. I think Enigma with an Attitude is an amazing album. And I don't think a lot of people are going to put him on their list for artist of the year or rapper of the year, because not everybody got to hear Timing of a Tarantula, because he's not putting it up on streaming. It's an album that he's releasing for his fans and for collectors. I know Ty, so he was very nice and gave me a copy of it, and I've listened to it, and it is amazing. I don't know that I've had it long enough to say it's better than Enigma with an Attitude, because that's one of those albums that I still play constantly. I listened to it 2 days ago, just while I was doing some stretches before playing some drums. So I think Ty's 2 records that he put out are top notch, and I think he's had a great year also, just with everything he does behind the scenes. UFO Feeve, another one, and Vegas 7, The Ronin. Really great years. But my top 5. Whew, Crime Apple, 6 releases this year. This is not that with Apollo Brown, Bazooka with Big Ghost, Let 'Em Cook, Elion, Los Pollos Hermanos, the Michelangelo joint that dropped. I mean, just great year for Crime Apple. And another one that had a lot of drops was Maze Overlay with 8.
Maze, yes.
And some of those drops were the French Laundry with Machacha. 84 Testarossa was dope. Medium Raw. Pro Dillinger, 100% on my list. Dirt Wave 2, Reasonable Dirt, Don't Feed the Animals. And I'm counting Gucci Gambinos as part of his album drops, because that was, that was the two of them. That might be a Big Ghost Mickey Diamond record, but that's really a Big Ghost Pro Dillinger Mickey Diamond record.
Cool story.
Yeah, and on top of that, try to find a number of features that he's been on this year. It's too many to count.
Yeah.
So, and then obviously he's the one that brought us the umbrella to begin with. So I'll forever be grateful for that. Mickey Diamond, Super Shredder, It's 5 O'Clock Somewhere, Gucci Gambinos, all 3 of those ridiculously great. And I will say this unapologetically, Mickey is one of my favorite rappers of all time. Like he's in my top 5 of all time rappers. And
Love it.
It's because he is an exceptional writer. Is he a Vega 7? No, but his punchlines, his metaphors, the way he builds bars, exceptional. And on top of that, he has more style in his pinky than I think Ric Flair might have ever had. And that's saying a lot.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? Like Mickey is that fucking dude.
See the smile on my face? I couldn't fucking agree with you more.
The voice.
It's everything. He is just, it's amazing.
Great.
And then Danielson, shout out to Danielson. Like, one of the best in this underground. Like, he's been, every album he drops is ridiculous, but Harebrained Schemes with Finn, holy shit. Bushman Bodega with Future Wave, ridiculous. North Side was fucking hard. And then he dropped 3 other EPs like Falconson and Lawyer Fees and Courtly Chemist. So really great year for him as well. So that's my 5.
You mentioned everybody, both of you mentioned my top 5. You mentioned my honorable mentions. Look, we're not gonna lie. We know who's at the top. Okay, we know who's at the top. We know who's put out these bodies of work. I appreciate every single one of these artists, what they brought to the table this year, the projects that they've put out, even the recognition that they give this platform and the Abyss podcast platform. And these artists, not only are they putting out great projects, not only do they have their own style, not only do they have their own, like, look at what Substance did. Like, that's a brand, man. Okay, Ty Farris. Okay, like,
that's a
Bars
brand.
Over BS. Okay, I had given so much money to Bars Over BS in the last. No, like, seriously speaking, the amount of money, and I'm not lying. You could go check my bank account. You could go check like my shop right now and all the CDs I have waiting. The amount of money, but I appreciate them because they're able to give us this product. They're able to give us everything that's I have in this whole fucking house of mine that I have to hide from my wife. Okay. Or I have to argue with the mail woman because she throws it instead of putting it in the mailbox. Like, these people, man, are really giving to the culture, really giving to the fans of hip hop. And, like everybody that you mentioned, and I'm going to go and mention Words, man. Like I find Words is very underrated. Okay. We had him twice this year on the pod, and nobody mentions him, and whatever, it is what it is. I just love
great projects,
right?
Yeah,
like what he was able to give us this year, and just who he is as an artist, who he is as a rhymer, and like a lyricist, and how he really separates himself and uses different producers. And when he puts out projects, like he'll put the CD out and have 2, 3, 4 bonus tracks on there, but you can't get those on streaming. You have to buy the product. He's making us go back into the time where we wanted to go out to the CD shop, and
you needed the physical.
And you needed the physical, right? Like he's bringing us back to that essence, and also that rhyming essence. Okay, where like that battle rapper style rhyming essence, but he's able to do that side and give us great projects.
Mm-hmm.
That project Cerberus, fuck.
Yes.
Man. Fucking incredible project.
Mm-hmm.
And you know, he might not like that I'm saying this, but he's Canadian. And
yeah,
I love
the Weapon X project. I mean, he's dope.
He's great, and I'm super happy with the amount of music he's put out and how he's able to give it to us, and that he's never stopping.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Who else do I have on my list here? Danielson. Fuck. Have you ever seen Danielson live?
Mm-hmm.
Fuck.
Yep. It's amazing.
Milenko, we saw him
Sick.
together.
Yeah, he was sick.
He sounded like I put the CD on and I blared the volume.
I got to see him and Pro together on stage.
I'm jealous. Sorry, I'm jealous. Like, fuck. And 3 projects, the EPs he put out, the consistency that human being has been giving us since 2017.
The
and
level
this
of
year,
his craftsmanship.
Man, there's so much integrity. He like, I remember growing up and listening to a bunch of hardcore bands. And I remember like I started getting into hardcore when, you know, like hardcore was fresh. It was new. Like you had those bands coming up and like they had no choice but to really fucking push the envelope. Danielson does that.
Mm-hmm.
I got to give props to Mondo Slade. Man.
Shout out to my guy Mondo.
Okay. I have no idea what he looks like, but fuck does he put out great music, and that he does it in a different way. Man.
Well, certainly don't go back and watch episode 1 of the Abyss podcast.
No, I don't want to, because I don't want to see the way it looks, because I love it with that mask.
Yeah.
You know, like the dude, like he gave us like that project he gave us this year, on Valentine's Day. What was that project called? She Loves Me Not?
She Loves Me Not. Yeah. Yeah. It was supposed to drop on Valentine's, but they got delayed a few days. Yeah. But amazing project.
Right. And the
I
slate
just
of
love
hands.
the themes. I just love the themes that he builds with his albums. It's incredible.
Yeah.
And his videos are top notch as well. He's always got great visuals.
He gives us that witty, unpredictable fly shit that we haven't had in a very, very, very long time in hip hop.
Now, have you seen him on stage?
No, because he's been on the EVA the last couple of times, and I haven't been able to get down there to the States because of work and family and kids, and I gotta do episodes. But I really want to see him. Like, you know what? I want to see him live, but I want to be able to have a conversation with Mondo. I want to, like, he's that type of guy that I want to really sit down to and really like try and be like, man, your style is something super different.
Mm-hmm.
He's out there. He's out there.
Right.
Yeah,
and he's not for everybody, right? Like, remember Derek? Derek couldn't get into his style of music, but we understand it, and it's not for everybody. Look, the next 2, I said 3, right?
Mm-hmm.
Vegas 7. Vegas 7 put out 4 projects this year, and the last project with Ayo Shamir, Griots of the Third Rail.
Yep.
So I don't have that in my top 10 projects, but we've been getting so much music from Vega the last 2 years. But do we really
Runner, Both Hands Wash the Face?
But do we know who Vega is? Do we really know who Vega, the artist, is until we listen to Griots of the Third Rail? Yes, I know what you're gonna say, Carl. But like,
well, I do, because he hung out at my house.
Yeah. Fuck. But we got all these projects, the concept projects, but we really see Vega's like Kane. Okay, we never really knew who Kane was till he took off the mask, and then he took off the mask, and we saw what he was. Vega gave us griots of the third rail, and I know who Vega is. I know he's from Queens. I know the struggles he went through. I know what he's about.
So
and
I'm gonna challenge you real quick on that. I think Vega's always given you exactly who he is. What you're looking for is the surface stuff.
yes, yes,
But I think if you break down all of his albums,
yeah.
you will find that he's basically telling you exactly who he is.
But I like the more. Yes, I get it. I get what you're saying, but I
His
like.
wordplay is just so crafty
Yeah.
that you get caught up in the individual moments and not the overview of what he's trying to tell you.
Yeah.
And that's where the replay value comes in for me with Vega.
You're always learning. You're always
Well, and you
learning.
have to listen to it. Like there are certain rappers that, I would say a lot of rappers you can't just listen once and get all of the references or get all, but there are certain rappers that 8-10 times in, I'm still catching things.
Yeah, I'm still
it's
catching
like watching The Big
20.
Lebowski. It's you know what I mean.
Yeah.
Like every time I watch that, I see something else that was like, oh, I never noticed that before.
Yeah,
100%.
But like sometimes I do like my artists being where you need to listen to it 10-15 times for you to catch everything. But then I also like when the artist puts out the project where it's more like, okay, it's an easier listen and you get everything, like the more emotional side of the artist where you're not digging deep
right
into it. And I find that what he did with that album, like he was able to give us like
a deeper look.
Yeah, the deeper look into it. And look, he's put out four projects, four projects, and again, do they also? None of them sound the same. So again, and number one, the excellence of execution, Pro Dillinger.
Yep.
I'm sorry, I'll put him up against anybody else this year. Okay, there's no way you're gonna win up against Pro Dillinger this year. The bodies of work that he's put out, the work he's put in. Okay, it's amazing to see. And I said this when we had him on the pod. I've seen you grow from, those EPs you put out to Pray for My Prey and to where you are at now, man. And it's just a beautiful thing to see where you're at. And this year is his best year. It's the best year.
Oh, yeah.
He knew it was going to be. He told me at the beginning of the year, he said, watch. Just watch.
And he doesn't lie.
And I'll hear that from a lot of rappers. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
I get a lot of rappers that'll say, well, I'm gonna be rapper of the year this year. But yeah, I don't know that anybody's proved it more than Pro Dillinger.
He the dude's the world heavyweight champion of hip hop right now.
Well, and the opportunities that he's getting to open up for Czarface. He did a really big gig out in San Diego. He's been part of the Charged Up Fest. He's gaining this really great exposure. And I mean, he's immensely
pushing
talented.
himself. He's pushing himself forward, and he wants to be there. He wants to be on the different podcasts, the different platforms. He wants to do the different interviews. He wants to do the different shows, like the live performance. I saw him live in March at the first EVA, and I was just like, fuck, is this the headliner? Like, really? Like, the dude puts in the work, man. And what he's done with the umbrella, like, guys, we could sit here and name all the artists on the umbrella and what all those artists have done differently from each other and what they were able to bring to the table. It's just amazing to see.
You guys, a sneak peek for your fans. The episode that the Abyss podcast will drop on the 31st of December will be featuring Pro Dillinger and Mickey. Together. So it's going to be like a 3.5, 4-hour podcast because I can't ever get Mickey to shut up anyway. So
in person?
Yeah, if you notice any of our podcasts with Mickey, they're all like 3 hours.
Yeah.
Yep.
But you're doing it in person at your house?
No.
That would have been crazy.
I wish. Yeah, that
Imagine.
would be amazing. Yeah,
I would fly out just to be in the room,
yeah, that'd be worth the ticket.
right?
Yeah, for
That's
sure.
amazing. I can't wait to tune in for that one. That's crazy. Good for you. That's amazing.
Exclusive, guys. Exclusive. You got to hear.
Yep.
Let's do top 10 albums. I think this is what we've been fucking working on all week, year, month, whatever you want to call it. Who wants to go first?
I'll go first. I'll go
Oh,
first.
Okay.
Oh, fuck.
get it out the
Malenko,
way.
can you be nice? Can you give you should have said, hey, Carl, would you like
No,
to go
no,
first
take it
before
away.
I go?
You went first. Almost every. No. Let me go first.
Asshole. Okay, go.
Okay, I'm just gonna say this again.
Oh, here we go.
During we having this discussion here, my list was like, oh shit, I forget. This is true, and this maybe should, like, I have my 10 here in my honorable mentions, and I'm like, maybe that one should be an 8, and this one should be. It's crazy. I have it right next to me, and I'm like, maybe that should have been, because I'm just thinking about it. Okay, let's start by the honorable
Top 10 of 2024.
Watch out, guys. Okay, so let's start by the. I'll give you honorable mentions off the bat right away. Common, Pete Rock, Auditorium, Volume 1. I was super impressed, and honestly, I said it before, but as a kid, my favorite rapper was Common. When I just started into hip hop, I went like, Common is unbeatable. So for me, it was refreshing to hear him, and he still got it, man. That guy's a legend. Crime Apple, El Leon. My jaw dropped when I first heard that. Having that production, incredible. How he did it through that thing, incredible. Yes.
I have my hand up. Do you still have my CD? Did you find it?
I have it right here, baby.
Okay, can you give it to me next time I see you? Because it's fucking like 5 months you have it.
More than that. It's been longer than that.
Okay, I'm just saying, because I have stuff for you here and I always give you stuff, but I'm just waiting for my El Leon CD that
honestly,
I paid for.
it's an honorable mention. I played that throughout the year. And to bring back Preservation, to do a genius fucking move. I still, like, what a genius move it was for him. Perfect match. I hope there's going to be a second one. London Drugs, Affiliated too. Dude, that is, I listened to that all year. Crime Apple, Bazooka then made the top 10. Can you believe that?
I'm
Crime
shocked.
Apple, Bazooka.
I know why, but
And my last is Blue in Evidence, Los Angeles.
Great album. Oh, Carl, did you hear that?
It was a great album, great production. Evidence that made a solid product throughout, just consistent, and Blue killed it. It's a West Coast album, but like I said, it's not the beach side. It's that dark alley right next to the beach. Okay, that's that West Side shit. That's the you don't walk after 9 type of West Side.
Great album, great project.
Love it.
I'll check it out.
Let's get to the business. Number 10 is my surprise of the year. If I have to give it to someone, it would be this album. This floored me. I didn't expect to be on the top 10. Vega with Ferris Blusa. Bald Hands, Wash the Face. That came out in July. That made my top 10. And the way I structure my top 10, I have to mention this. I was overthinking about it. I'm like, do I go with the value? Like, which one is more technical than which one? No. At the end of the day, guys, this is the 10 albums I listen the most. That's it. That's how you
have to go.
Yeah, it's not like, oh, I enjoy it the first time the most, or this. No. This is really what I went through for the whole year. So that's my first album. Shout out. Second, number 9, I should say, Pro Dillinger, Future Wave, Dirt Wave 1. I haven't listened to Dirt Wave 2. It's going to count for next year. I got to say it right away because I made the list and the 2 came out. So I couldn't put it on. It was too early. 8. Here we go with the problems. JPEG Mafia. I lay down my life for you. That came out in August. I think I really like noisy albums, hip hop noisy albums. The year throughout the year, I loved it. And JPEG Mafia, I think he's a pioneer of the underground. He has his own lane. I don't think he mixed with the other guys because they don't want him to mix with the other guys. I think there's a clash there, maybe. But I consider he's not mainstream JPEG Mafia. He's still underground, but
Well, he could sell out like big venues with over 2,000 people, and he does festivals. So
I don't
I
know.
think
I don't know.
I think there's mainstream, then there's him, then there's that line, that fine line that really is between the mainstream and underground, and then there's the underground.
Yeah.
He could sell out a venue of 2,000 people. People fucking like JPEG Mafia. I can't do it. I feel like I'm in a room of just a bunch of people screaming and smashing glass
His
everywhere.
production is crazy. His production on this is amazing, and
I'm happy you like it.
his whole like discography is heavyweight. It's really heavy. 7, Tyler the Creator with Chromacopia. Again, the value of the production, the bars that he went to, the directions, the way he talks about himself, the storyline throughout, incredible. We got 6, No Worries, Why Lord, that came out in June. That album to me, I said, is like a good glass of old whiskey. Jesus, it just flows throughout. Knowledge, I wanted to put him in my top 5 producers, but he just got that one project. But he made it incredible. And again, Anderson .Paak, I think, for him to go that deep into his personal life and to put it out there and to do an album throughout it, perfect. 5, Mickey Diamond, Super Shredder. Super Shredder to me, I think that might be my favorite album of his. I listened to that album this year. I couldn't say
So
how
much.
so much.
He has the best line of the year in that album. Something
Which one?
Gilbert Grape, you're retarded, or what does he say on it? It's fucking like I was saying it, like I was listening to it today and I was saying it at work and I was like, oh fuck, there's people around me that are gonna hear me say retarded and I'm gonna fucking get canceled or lose my job over it.
It's again, I can say so many. Coffee Beans, I listened to that a million times. I think it's my top 3 favorite song of his all time. Rocksteady, Shredder Loves April.
Shout out to Raul Duke.
Dude, there's so many like
great production on that.
Great production on that. Great production on that.
Yeah.
Number 4, Ka, The Thief Next to Jesus. That came out in September. It's just too much for me, that album. I cannot believe he went out with that album. You cannot tie the end more perfectly than that. It's crazy. It gives me chills just to think about it. My beautiful testimony, Borrowed Time. The whole album to me is just a masterpiece. To me, it's masterpiece, and it's probably my most enjoyed album of Ka. And I cannot believe he left after that. It's crazy to me. It's honestly crazy to me, but that's something that is gonna stay with me for a long time. And he has the best cover of the year for me as well. 3, got totally my playlist. My last listen, my Spotify on a chokehold. Kendrick Lamar GNX that came out this. Complete album, just fun and smash hits all over. He did everything he had to do on there. Just him to do something different and to maybe tone it down a bit and just don't be so heavy on the listen and give us something that we can always listen to. And yeah, it's excellent. 2, Rock Marciology. Hey, there's some albums on here, I swear to God, I didn't want to put on the list. Okay, and this was one of them. I'm like, I cannot put Rock Marcial. It's too much, and I listened to it so much this year. It's insane. Like, it's the outro of the podcast. Is one of the songs on there. Like, I played it so much, and I think it's such a Rock Marciano. We talked about it mid-year, me and Carl. It's such a Rock Marciano album, but there's nothing bad to that. I mean,
Mhm.
that's exactly what I needed for him. It's not too much right. It's not too much left. It's just perfect in the middle. I enjoy every beat. Every beat. He has, and listen to the last week studying for this. I think that the way he has the minimalistic beat, but he still have that bounce to it. It still have that something that I can't explain it better than that, but it's so minimalistic, but it's still something to it that you can hold on to, and
Mhm.
you don't need much. That's tough to do. That's really tough to do, and like through I mean, I just enjoy every song. That's the thing. I just enjoy every tapeworm, bad juju,
Bad Juju
baby
is so good.
baby's kid. I would listen to that all the time, all the time, and that's an album that my girlfriend don't ask me to skip. So that's for an underground album that my girlfriend don't ask me to skip in the car. That's a great note. And number one, it stayed there the whole year. Schoolboy Q, Blue Lips. I don't care. It came out in March. I listened to that the whole year. The whole year. I have it in my car. I bought it physical. I have it in my car. That was plays in my car all the time as soon as you started. And I think it grew on me. I gave it, I think, a 9 at the beginning of the year. I would go to a 9.7 easily right now. And
Really?
there's no skipper on that. There's no skipper. I listen to the intro, the whole thing, the outro, the whole thing. You get him rapping. I have the song of the year that I listen the most is AZ Shike movie. So there's one there as well. Schoolboy Q, man, he came back and totally killed it. Totally killed it for me. So that's my top 10.
I don't hate it. You told me today that I was gonna hate your list.
Because it's a lot of
What is a lot of what commercial, more commercialized?
it's more commercial. So
Okay, you're getting
sometimes
older. I know you like a different sound as you get older. It's okay. I understand you, Milenko.
it's tough for me. Again, when I get to this list, sometimes when you go to technicality, we talked about on the last podcast with Derek, with the Tyler the Creator. Sometimes it's just the level to it, even though it's different lanes. There's something that like the technicality of an album that's well produced and the money they put in and the time they put in, sometimes always gonna beat the underground for me. So that's why maybe I shouldn't be here next year to do the list. Maybe I should just, but I don't want to get people pissed off about it.
No.
Well, no, but you guys cover a good dose of underground hip hop, but you also cover mainstream artists.
Absolutely.
And you know, that's the difference with our podcast is we don't cover any of the mainstream. We don't cover trap, drill, you know, and so obviously with my picks are all completely underground based. But no, I can respect your list 100%.
Oh, I'm happy to hear that because like I honestly and
you didn't mention Drake, so I'm golden.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, no, for sure not. For sure not. But that's the thing. Sometimes like a Vegas 7 to me, throughout the year, I listen to his projects a lot of times. But when I get to like what I can listen to most, sometimes mainstream's gonna take out a bit more of the.
But it's fine.
I still I mean it's my list, so
Milenko,
right?
I wanna say something, and Carl's probably gonna agree with me. We listen to hip hop. We love hip hop.
We listen to everything.
It's okay. So. We're not in high school anymore where we're like, oh shit, I can only listen to this certain style of hip hop because that
this dude said Schoolboy Q.
like no. Back in high school, like we didn't want to kind of be part of that crew or that style, so we didn't want to say it. We're adults. We're allowed to listen to whatever the fuck we want to listen to, and we're allowed to enjoy it. It's okay. Like, fuck. I love Kendrick Lamar. I've said this numerous times on this podcast that he's my favorite rapper. I don't give a shit. I'll argue with anybody any day of the week why he's I think he's the greatest rapper. You could argue with anybody that your Schoolboy Q album is number one on your list. That's fine. But we're able to give you different styles of content. We're able to review different things. We're able to tell you what the negative and the positive is. We're not just giving you a score and telling you, yeah, this is a fucking 9 on 10 with no explanation, or this is a 1 on 10, no explanation. We're able to have a conversation about it. We're able to like what we like. Fuck, my top artist of the year out of any genre of music is Oasis.
Oh, jeez. It's okay.
Like, fuck, I don't care. Think
No,
I
it's
give a
okay.
shit? I'm going to watch Oasis in Toronto
Are you gonna go?
in August 2025, the
Oh,
stadium
geez.
that's not even built yet. You think I'm scared? Fuck, I'm going to sing all the songs to it. It's going to be amazing.
That's
Like,
awesome.
who cares?
That's
We
awesome.
love what we love, and that is fine. Just have a reasoning behind it. And instead of just saying fucking a score and it's number one and not give an explanation. I appreciate
Yeah.
your list, man, respectfully.
No, I thought it was very thorough. And all of these lists are always going to be opinion based. That's why,
A hundred percent.
unless you can come up with a criteria to judge rappers.
And that's
Are we going to
impossible.
go, you know,
Bar
like,
for bar,
but
like
yeah,
hook
how many
for a hook.
multi-syllable
Yeah,
rhymes are they, like,
yeah,
what are we doing?
yeah.
It's all
impossible.
opinion based anyway. So no,
Yeah.
I thought your list was great.
Thank you.
The Wise Man, it's your turn.
All right. So I too also have some honorable mentions. French Laundry, Machacha and Maze,
Mhm.
I thought was a great record. Did not make my top 10, but Marciology. It was in there and then it came out and then it was in there and then it came out.
Pause.
I
Damn, pause might have really saved my life.
good pause. And I really I love the new record. I love the Alchemist beats. I haven't really had enough time to digest it, to put it into, a top album of the year yet for me. But as it stands now, I like the Marciology project better overall. It just resonated with me a lot more. And then getting to see him live this year was incredible.
It's true, huh?
Yeah.
So jealous.
Rome Streets, the Hatton Garden hold up with Derringer
Oh, wow.
was a great record. Bazooko, Big Ghost and Crime Apple, and Ty Ferris's Timing of a Tarantula. Again, there are quite a few people that haven't heard it, but a stellar record. So my 10, Thief Next to Jesus, and I will tell you, it's probably the greatest record of this year, quality wise. But because it's so powerful, it was very difficult for me to frequently play it because I mean it's heavy.
Oof,
Like
yeah.
it's like watching Roots heavy.
Yep.
And I love it, but again, it's like watching a good drama or something like that. I have to be in the mood for it. So it didn't get as much replay value. And again, my list is very much like Milenko's in the sense that these are just, whatever I ended up going back to and playing the most was what made it to my list. But I don't think there's an album that came out this year that was as high quality as Ka's last record. Painting Houses 2, UFO Thief, I thought was fantastic. Harebrained Schemes. I thought Finn's production on that was amazing, and Danielson is Danielson, top notch. Enigma with an Attitude, Ty Ferris, still heavily played. But I also feel like, because I'm a comic book nerd, I do gravitate towards comic booky themed albums, and Ty really just did an amazing job with that record.
Riddler.
Yeah. Well, and what's his name from
Saw.
Saw, yeah. Jigsaw.
Yeah.
Kawasaki Killers, Body Bag Ben, Vega 7, The Ronin. I love Shadowrunner. I love the Ferris Bueller Project. I think Vega is amazing. But again, having really heavy beats behind Vega's rap style to me was money. It was just money. I loved it.
That's my that's a
Dirt,
great album. Guys, I have to admit something. Okay, I'll
yeah.
admit it, but to me, Kawasaki Killers was 2000. It was last year. I thought it was last year.
How dare
So
you?
Yeah, no, it was
I
it was
didn't
this year.
even. That's a big mistake of mine because
Because we were lucky enough to get Body Bag Ben on the podcast just as it was dropping.
That was a great fucking episode.
Yeah.
It was great to hear him talk and also talk about because he just had his daughter,
Mm-hmm.
if I'm not mistaken. Yeah.
Yep. Dirt Wave.
Number
Future
6.
Wave. This is 5.
5.
Okay.
But again, this isn't in 100% order. This has
Yep.
changed a lot. This is the last order that I came up with.
Okay. Same as me.
So Dirt Wave was 5. Shout out to Pro Dillinger and again another Future Wave project that, just ridiculously great. Super Shredder, Raul Duke, Mickey Diamond. Again, the Ninja Turtles theme sucked me in, of course. Amazing follow-up to their first
Yeah.
Haruka Saki. But yeah, I mean, to me, I don't think there's a Mickey Diamond record I haven't fell in love with. Speaking of which, Gucci Gambinos. Number 3, probably just because of how late it's come out. But it's been getting a lot of rotation lately. So number 2, Danielson, Bushman Bodegas.
Great.
Again, Future Wave, kill it.
Mm-hmm.
And then the number 1 record for me, play wise, was Eddie Kane, Last Exit to Brooklyn.
Oh wow.
I'm a big fan of Eddie Kane's style. I love the mix of him and Rim on tracks, but Wonderful World of Kano. There's so many great records from him that 1224 or 24. Yeah, 1224. With Wavy. I love Eddie Kane. I'm a big fan, and so Tree Grows in Brooklyn was a standout for me in 2023, and it was an album that I probably played more than most. So when they followed it up with Last Exit to Crooklyn, I don't know, it was everything I wanted in a sequel.
Yeah.
That
Yeah.
intro, the wrong arrow is insane.
Mm-hmm.
I
Yeah.
remember that from the intro because it was my introduction to Eddie Kane when we reviewed this, and I was floored by the intro.
Yeah.
He paints a picture. That's and I think Carl, we've had this conversation actually. He paints a picture where he really puts you in that mind frame and that theme, or he
Mhm.
really puts you in where he's at, right? And
Yep.
Tree Grows in Brooklyn was very emotional for him. And what
Reminds me
he
of a
went through,
Spike Lee movie.
right?
Mhm. Yep.
So
But I want to say this though, that was 15 albums, and I could name 100 albums that I loved this year.
Same for me.
You
Same
know,
for me.
so many great albums this year. It was ridiculous. Runner Duck, XP the Marksman,
Mhm.
such a
Mhm.
great album. Alligator Alley was shoddy.
Fuck.
Amazing album. Like, there were some really, really fantastic records this year, and it's boohoo that I had to select down to this many, but I'm so grateful that this era is just producing what it is, because we benefit.
Absolutely. And it's so much fun to get all these projects weekly. As much as it's overwhelming, it's just so fun to like again, like when people say they don't listen to hip hop anymore and there's no good hip hop coming out, it's like, okay, but what are you doing for you to find it? Where are you listening? What resources are you using to be able to get these artists? It's underground hip hop. You got to go find it. You got to listen to other people. You got to take, like, my whole thing is like, if I do this so that I can turn one more person onto an artist that I like.
Yep.
Whether it's
100%.
1 or a billion. If I can get that one more person to listen to fucking Mickey Diamond, I feel like I did my job. If I can get another 100 to get onto Mickey Diamond, I feel like I did my job. Like, it makes me feel complete, as weird and as like cheesy as it to say that, but it makes me feel like I accomplished something if I can get that one more person to listen to these artists. You know what? Like,
and a lot of people don't know how difficult the grind is to produce a podcast every week with a regular job and family and things going on, and to do that consistently for no money.
Yeah, it's tough.
You've got to be passionate.
It's
It's you know, and I 100% agree. I think, you know, if you're not doing it because you truly just want to share this, and that was the whole reason I wanted to podcast with Lukey, was they put me onto so many rappers on The Fuck You Mean that I needed more. And when it was over, I was like, it's not fair. You guys, where am I going to get my information from? Where am I going to find out about the dope new shit?
Yeah.
And so you take up the mantle and you do it.
People, go out there and just fucking listen. Man, I work retail. Okay. I'm going to get to my list after this comment. I work retail. I've been working in retail for 18, 19 years. I've actually met Milenko in retail. We actually worked together. I used to go see Milenko because he used to work next door with my wife before he started working with me. And I used to go force him to listen to artists. No, like, seriously. Like, I used to go, Milenko, listen to West Side Gun. This is like 2015, 2016. Milenko, listen to West Side Gun. Milenko, how many times did I come and bust your balls, pause, and say,
listen
like,
to Fly God? And I was like, what's the name of the artist? You told me already. What's the name? What's
like,
the album? Fly God.
like, I spend my days getting albums and sending it to people just so people could listen to what I think is the greatest music. Whether it's Kendrick new album, whether it's a fucking Jamil Honesty new album, whether it's a Big Ghost new project, whether it's whatever. I love to send people music because I want people to be like, fuck, Steven, you know, like, he's really passionate about what he listens to. Or, hey, I listen to this. Oh, hold on a second. You listen to this? Okay, cool. I hear this sound and this. Go listen to this artist. That's my job. That's all I really care about to do, is to put people onto the music that I love. I've been doing this since I've been in high school, just putting people onto music. I feel accomplished when they get into an artist that I can have a full-blown conversation with that person about the artist. And I guess it's just passion. But let me give you my top 10. So we can get up out of here because we're 8 hours in. So honorable mentions, real quick: Este Nac, Stone Temple Pyrex.
Great album.
Please go listen to it. And Este Nac, it's really been the last 2 years that I've gotten into him, because I found the years before that it was difficult for me to get onto his music. And I think Future Rave really opened the door for me on Este Nac, and what Este Nac was able to do on certain styles of beats, and what he was able to do with such experimental beats as what Future Wave gave him. Mondo Slate of Hand. I love that project.
Great record.
I love that project. I thought that project was just amazing. It didn't crack my top 10, but it's has a lot of replay value. It's not a long record either, but I hate saying it this way, but it's a fun record. It's great to listen to. It gives me energy. It makes me, it's exciting to listen to it. Josiah the Gift, Lavish Language.
That's an album to me that I would have, if I had, like, because it's only on YouTube. Is it still on?
No, it's on. You could get it on Bandcamp, and you could listen to it on streaming, or you can buy it on his Bandcamp.
Okay, I should.
Which I did.
That album, I loved it at first listen. It was just on YouTube, so I didn't have that continuity. Like
Look at you.
sick. But
I
great
could
album.
sleep at night when I get this in the
Great
mail. It makes
album.
me
That was a
sleep,
great album.
and it wasn't thrown on my porch. It was put into my mailbox like
With care.
with care, and like, oh man,
That's
this
a debut
project.
album for me. For me personally, that's like debut of the year for me, not for his
for
career.
for
me.
Josiah, man,
Josiah is special.
For me, on 100%.
like this project. Talk about lyricism,
Mm-hmm.
wordplay.
Yep.
He has
Incredibly talented.
such a great technique to what
It
he
is.
does.
I'm at it right now on the.
And I said in when we reviewed the album, I could put him up there with lyricists like the Nas's of the world, like the Jadakisses of the world. He's not as to that mainstream as them, but who gives a shit? He could do that. He could do that, man.
Mm-hmm.
Like he has such talent. Carl, you said it. He has talent.
Mm-hmm. Immense.
Wolves, that song Wolves. Ooh.
Derek
Crazy.
never buys CDs or spends money on vinyl or any of that stuff. And he bought it in like 12 seconds after listening to the first 3 songs. That intro, fuck. Really big props to him. And we're going to get into the 10. Don't want to waste any more of people's time. But number 10, Carl, you said the way he puts his raps together, just the whole body of work that he gives us. Okay. You guys said Super Shredder. I'm going with it's 12 o'clock somewhere.
Yeah, you love that album.
I love that project. And I listened to Super Shredder today. And then I listened to it's 12 o'clock somewhere.
5 o'clock.
It's 5 o'clock somewhere. Sorry, my brain is fried. It's
okay.
5 o'clock. It's 5 o'clock somewhere.
We're getting close to 12 o'clock.
What?
Yep.
Yeah, we've been recording for 8 hours. We're almost getting. It's 5 o'clock somewhere. Sorry, it's 5 o'clock somewhere. And I was able to be like, I really enjoyed this one way more because I get what he was trying to do with Super Shredder. But if you really want to separate Mickey Diamond as a lyricist and somebody that's really pouring his heart out onto a project, this is it. Like if somebody says, Steven, give me a Mickey Diamond project, I'm going to give them this first because a lot of people want to see the lyrical aspect of a person sometimes before they get to different projects and what different things that they could bring to the table. This is Mickey Diamond's that I said it. It's his blueprint. Go.
No, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to cut you off. I just, it shows his sense of humor as well.
Right.
Because it's a follow-up to No Liquor Before 12,
Yeah.
which was an incredibly personal album that really talked about, him needing to dial it back a little bit and to get focused. And it was a turning point album, so to speak, as far as talking about his progression of, he had 4 album drop one year, and then he goes 9 album drops the next year, and then he goes 7 album drops the year after that. I mean, incredibly high production. And a lot of it was because of the mentality that came out of No Liquor Before 12. But then he turns around and says, but it's always 5 o'clock somewhere.
Yeah.
Meaning, I'm still going to be Mickey.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, he's sick. I love that.
And that's such a great joke because he basically just pulled the rug out from under himself in that seriousness of that first album title. So.
But you get the different faces of Mickey on here. You get so many different styles of Mickey on here. And like this is the album that if you're driving long distances or you're in an airplane or you just want to sit down and not have anybody around you where you're really able to concentrate, this is that album from Mickey Diamond. And you get Mickey Diamond. And this is something that I will always give somebody if they like, what do I need to get myself into? Which Mickey Diamond album should I get myself into? This is what I'm going to give them. Number nine, Feed the Family, Zing Language.
I knew it was going to be there. I knew it.
You knew it was going to be there. You know how I feel about this project.
It should have been on mine too.
No,
I mean, great album.
There's always a place in my heart for this style of hip hop. Drug dealing storytelling, where I need to wear a winter jacket and I'm just watching them through the crack of a window selling drugs, but giving me that in-depth story. And each and every one of them is so different. So different. They bring such
Yeah.
a different thing, different rhyme, different everything to the table. And the thing that stands out the most is the tremendous production. Tremendous. That's his name. He's the producer. The way he produced these and the way he used those samples and the beats he was able to give to us, and the way they were all able to give a story, the storytelling on it, man. And
Saint
fuck it.
Trace, man. I love that song. Love
Like,
that song.
and it has such replay value to me. Like when I don't know what I want to listen to, I put this on. I'm like, yeah, this is what I want to listen to. Number 8, Ka, The Thief Next to Jesus.
Oh wow.
Look, you said it, Carl. There's not like there's a time and place for it. I find this album very, and not in a negative way, but very weird and very eerie. You know what I mean? It's like I was listening to it today and I stopped it and I went back and re-listened to that song and I was just like, oh fuck. It like fucking creeped me out.
Dude,
Like
it
there's
gave me chills,
foreshadowing.
man.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah. Even in some of the
crazy.
specific lines in that.
Yeah.
Just
Predetermined death and stuff like that. I was listening to it and I told people, do you hear what he's saying? Obviously they don't catch it because they're not into it like we are. But like there's, and it's very touching. This album, it gives goosebumps.
It's some of his best production that he
Yeah.
ever did. Like
Yep.
to me, it's just mind blowing. It's just mind blowing, that album. Every time I think about it, like I always, like Carl, you said it is really a heavy album, and it's not something you go back to all the time. But I was in the mood, I guess, but I loved it. I loved it all the time.
yeah,
All the
it's
time.
great.
And I'm happy to own the physical copy of this. And this is an album that I'll listen to in about 10 years, 15 years, and I'll be like, it resonates with you.
Yeah.
It's a near perfect project.
Yeah.
What am I? Number 7? Danielson and Future Wave, Bushman Bodega. One of Danielson's best projects of that whole Future Wave produced Danielson album. I just find he elevates himself to the next level every time he comes out with a project. It's his year. He's in the top artists. He was in Carl's top artist. He was in my top artist. He pushes the limit all the time. He just wants to excel as the artist, and he showcased that on this album. He keeps getting, every time him and Future Wave come out with an album, doesn't mean it's their best project, but he makes it like it's their first time together.
It's I mean, look at the difference between Bushman Bodega and Sun Tzu and the Wave God.
Yeah.
2 completely different records.
Yeah.
Crazy, huh?
I mean, unbelievable. Yeah, unbelievable.
And their covers always put you in that mindset of what they're gonna give you. Like you go there with that cover. Number 6, Rock Marciano, Marciology.
Nice.
What's that beat? What, like, it's like a fucking like fuck. And
It's Goyard. It's the ender of the podcast, right?
Yep.
Yeah, it is, huh?
Yeah. That's why it's in there.
It shows how much I listen to my podcast. But the styles of beats he listened to this is, I was working, Johnny, right? Milenko?
Yes, of course.
We worked together and I told him, stop what you're doing, listen to this album. He's huge into metal. He does like hip hop. He likes like rock music. He's like Zeppelin. He likes Van Halen. He likes all that stuff. But he's able to separate the lyricist and the beats. And when he listens to album, he listens to it kind of like us, where we could listen to it in 3 different ways, like artist only, lyricist, the beats, and then everything together. And I just told him, listen to this production on here and how he's able to really always flow on point onto every single style of beat. And you get different styles of beat on here. It's not just the same. It's all different beats. The top 5, Ty Farris, Enigma with an Attitude.
Yeah.
This is Ty Farris's best album. Out of everything he's put out, this is his best album. Still to this day, I'm going into this album and discovering new things.
Mhm.
It was just a brilliant concept, brilliant way of putting an album together. It's a puzzle,
Mm-hmm.
right? You could see it in totally different ways, no matter who you are. You see it in a different way every time you listen to it. Number 4, Eddie Kane and Big Ghost, Last
Wow.
Exit to Crooklyn. What else can we say about this? It's
Chef's
perfection.
kiss. Yep.
It's
Complete
just
album.
perfection. The jazzy feel, the way it was put together. You said it's like a Spike Lee movie. It's like a movie. You're going into it, you get everything. You get all the different parts of the movie, the climax in the middle of it, and how it ends, how it starts. And just the difference of Big Ghost production on here. It was just cinematic to me. Number
But
3.
you guys know it's a movie, right?
Absolutely.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Okay. I was just wondering.
Yeah.
Okay.
But Big Ghost, like, fuck, the dude's smart. Like just the album cover, like the whole way of putting an album together. Like, we get what, 3 to 4 projects a year from Big Ghost. He doesn't do it in a week. It takes his time.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's
It
like
should-
going to an orchestra. That's the way I see it. I said it with when Carp Noctem came out. I was like, this is like listening to a fucking orchestra.
Yep.
He orchestrates his music. Number 3, Pro Dillinger, Reasonable Dirt.
Mhm.
If you want to talk about an
Fantastic
album
record.
that touched my soul, that touched my heart,
Mm-hmm.
the different side of Pro Dillinger, the less aggressive, the more emotional, the who is Pro Dillinger, this is it. Reasonable Dirt. I listen to this record, I would say, every 2 weeks. Okay. The songs on here, like just talking about his life, just talking about his relationship, just talking about the relationship with his dad on here, and just the things, the trial and tribulations of Pro Dillinger and what he went through, and just being able to really see who he is on this really resonated with me. And I was able to, just the relationship aspect on here and what he went through and things that I've gone through in my life, and be able to like be like, man, we went through kind of like, some of the same stuff, man. I appreciate you for giving us this music. And it's always amazing to get that emotional connection with an artist. And he was able to give this to me on this album.
Real quick, I just want to add, I think Pro Dillinger and Mickey in the same regard, they will give you such different types of albums. Like when you look at, the Dirty Work versus a DSS Amore, or a Pray for My Prey, or a Reasonable Dirt, or a Dirt Wave, and all of these records give you completely different aspects of who Pro is, and in very different ways, right?
Yep.
In the same way, you've got Bangkok Dangerous, and you've got No Liquor Before 12, but then you've got Super Shredder and Orokusaki, and you've got the Gucci Ghost stuff, and he's always bringing you these completely different elements. It's not like this one kind of, I'm gonna put myself in this box, and I
Yeah.
think they're both incredible at that.
Yeah, the many faces of them, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
And not a lot of artists are able to give you that, right?
No,
No. It's
that
tough.
much variety
Mhm.
in catalog, it's incredible.
No. And the number 2 is another artist that is able to give us that and to share that with us. And my number 2 is Vega 7 Shadowrunner.
Yeah.
You guys, I'm gonna
love that
challenge
one.
everybody here. Okay. What sounded like Shadowrunner?
Nothing.
Nothing.
And again, Vega did. He put you in a completely different space.
Mhm.
Complete 80s as far as that, that 80s kind of feel in the artwork and the sampling and the music.
The soundscape he built for that was perfect.
And
Perfect.
it was like watching Blade Runner, right?
Exactly.
Yep.
Or like the movie Tron. As much as it is Disney, it's just like it gave you that vision. And I grew up listening to LP. I grew up listening to C. Ray's Walls. I grew up listening to Tame One. I grew up listening to that experimental hip hop. And it brought me back to that essence. It brought me back to that style. And the producers on there, like Machacha was on there. Look at it, like that style that Machacha gives us. He was able to give us something totally different, tap into a different world.
Yep.
And Vega was able to tap into a different world on there, man. And just look, he's exquisite. The artist that he is and the different projects that he's able to give us. I love what he does. And the wrestling references, I'm sorry.
Of course.
Look, we all love something in an artist, okay? And as how great as he is, when you're at the kitchen table, breaking all his lyrics down in the dark.
Yeah, you did that for this album.
I still do it. And I played it a couple of days ago and I was like, is this in my top? And when I played that, I was like, fuck, is this number one? Like, is this like, no, like it's true. Like if my number one didn't come out, this would have been my number one. It's that fucking good. There's so much value to that album. There's so much value to it, man. Like like if it would have came out now, like it would have came out in the early 2000s, like it's just excelling as it is. And I want everybody to listen to that project. Like it's
the thing you said about the Blade Runner, like it's tough. If you give this album to someone who never listened to it, you don't give them an image, nothing. You don't, no visual, no nothing. Just listen to this and think, and what it makes you think about. They would say Blade Runner, and that's for an album. That's tough to do.
But there's also storytelling on here.
Oh, for sure.
Right? There's the concept behind it. There's a book behind this. It's kind of like you look at Vega and you're like, man, this dude is really, 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 really smart how he's able to break all of this down and give you this image and this storytelling. We could talk about it all day. We could actually do like a full 12 episodes on just breaking down Shadowrunner. And my number one is Pro Dillinger and Future Wave, Dirt Wave Volume Uno, and Dirt Wave Volume Dos.
The combo. You always cheat in one of these.
How the fuck am I? Why?
It's two separate records.
Hold on.
Every list he comes out with a little fucking thing.
This is a box set. There's a box set for this.
You know the contracts. You don't read the little littering. That's exactly.
I'm allowed to do what I want on my podcast. This is my podcast.
He just pulled a chair out from underneath the ring. Is what he did.
Yeah.
You guys, this is 20 songs. This is like a double disc. This is a box set.
I accept it.
Look,
here's why you can't do that, because it's not done yet.
Well, for the year.
But if you're gonna put them as a box set, you've got to have 3 and 4, and they're not out yet.
Let's wait and let's see. Hey, it could be 3 and
like
it could be 3
like
and 4.
Was I not supposed to say that?
That's why he's the man. Yeah. That's why he's the.
Look,
that's why he's the wise man. The wise, you saw that?
The wise man does that. But if there's two people that I never want to stop putting music out together, it's these two, because what they were able to give us and the quality of production by Future Wave and how it meshed so well with Pro Dillinger.
And shout out to Sepp for all the artwork.
The artwork is crazy.
Anime style, yeah, it's just incredible.
And I know a lot of people haven't listened to Dirt Wave 2 because it came out just 2 weeks ago, but I was able to sit with it for a very long time, and Pro sent it to me a long time ago. But I love how number 1 and number 2 don't sound similar. You get a lot more Pro The beats, first of all, the beats are totally different on both of them. Okay, they're more aggressive on two, as to number one. I find they're more layered. There's a lot more musicality in it. Not saying the number two doesn't have that, but the beats are a bit more aggressive. It's like a side A and a side B from who Pro Dillinger is. And I just side two, volume two, man, is that energy, that Pro Dillinger energy. Why are you laughing? That Pro Dillinger energy that we get. Yes, you want to say something?
Side two.
When I put the volume 2, after like 3 songs, I was like, oh fuck, I need to shut this. I can't play this before doing the list. I'm like, no. I'm not doing this before the list is done. Dude, I played like 3 tracks and I was like, oh shit, okay. I'm gonna stop it here and I'm gonna go back when I don't have to study all these albums.
It's just something. And when an artist works with Future Wave, he brings the best out of you. Right? And the production is so crisp. The sound is so crisp. Pro Dillinger sounds so amazing on here. I don't know. And the project just consistently flows. If you play it from number one till the end of volume two, you don't get bored. There's something about what Pro Dillinger is able to give you on here. And he is amazing at the hooks. They're catchy. They're elegant. They're grimy. You want to sing to them. You want to rap to them. You want to I would love to see this album played live from 1 to song 20, because it would be just a great experience to see in a live performance. And knowing how Pro Dillinger is in a live show, it'd probably be insane. Like fucking Still Here, man. I played Still Here and I was like, fuck, this is crazy. What an intro. I played Summer Smoke and I was like, fuck, this is an amazing second song. Gunplay. I told people I was working in the warehouse, packing boxes for e-commerce. And I told guys, I'm going to put the volume very loud. Listen. Just fucking listen and grasp.
I love that you hold people hostage
all the time, Carl. All the time, I told people, listen to what he's doing. Listen to the beat. Listen to Pro. Fuck, like it's crazy. And the soundscape that Future Wave gives you, that is different on volume one and then different on volume two. Look. You see the passion, the excitement. I fucking love volume two.
There are people that go home to dinner and at the dinner table, they're like, this crazy guy at work keeps forcing me to listen to hip hop all the time.
How was your day at work? It was good, but I had to listen to Pro Dillinger for 2 hours.
Well, I'm the manager.
My boss just forced me.
He kept yelling at me saying, listen.
I want them to hear what I hear. I want them to hear Have Heart on volume two and see what they're trying to do to us. And to fucking, anyways,
and
that's my number one. You know
what Steven says to them? He says, I got out to say so. So you're going to listen to this shit. And you got... I love that song. Say So is one of, I love that song. I mean, their wave won. It made everybody's list. So,
yep. Definitely.
And I cheated because I'm like Eddie Guerrero, lie, cheat, steal.
You needed to cheat. You always come up with something. Next year, you're going to tell us to do a top 10 and you're going to come up with 20.
That's not true. But it makes sense to have them both together, volume one and volume two.
Yeah.
And there's going to be a box set, hopefully. Yeah. And who's able to put out a volume one and volume two in the same year and for them to be that great?
Yep.
The excellence of execution. End of story. All right. Last subject of the evening. Hopefully everybody stayed with us and they're not asleep yet.
Great list.
Yes.
Yeah, great list. I love it. What do you boys want to see in 2025? What artist do you want to see work together? What's a project you want to see come out? Like what I want to know what's in your mindset, what's on your list for 2025. Milenko, let's start off with you since you like to cut people off.
The Umbrella takeover. I want the Umbrella takeover.
Well, it's happening.
Totally. It's happening, but I just wanted. I mean, us talking about it is gonna help a bit, but um, I just want the umbrella takeover. Um, I wanted to see on those mainstream guys lists, man.
Yeah.
On those critics, man. All those names that I'm thinking of, like Ebro and all those guys, like what the hell they doing? Like I don't understand it. They don't cover this type of music.
Well,
Um,
they're on commercial radio, right?
I know, but they're a hip hop radio at the same time. But yeah, I
That's why
wish.
we exist. That's why Carl,
And
the Abyss. That's why we exist. It's our job to promote and push these artists.
I just want to see. I just wanted to see keep it up. I just want to see people keeping up. And for me, uh, like one of Muddy Waters 2. Muddy Waters 2 is gonna come out now. Is for sure. I'm nervous about that one.
You should be nervous. It's so far what I
And
heard.
don't tell me, Steven. It's over. Um, but for 2025, man, I still want to see that high. If they make it hard for us, it's a good sign for music. So that's what I want the people to keep doing. Just come up with all these albums. It's enjoyable. I love my weekends now. Listen 3-4 albums and have them compete to each other and all that. So yeah, I love it. I love it.
Carl,
Um, yeah, I think there's a blessing and a curse to gaining mainstream attention.
Yep.
You know, I think once the machine gets a hold of it, so to speak, it will definitely try to water down the quality. So I'm okay with us staying underground. What I would like to see is fans continuing to improve support for artists so that the quality artists that are out can continue doing it.
Yep.
It would depress me way too much to know that, you know, really good artists decided not to do this anymore because it just wasn't worth their time, so to speak. And so, you know, for that to happen, I want you guys to be successful. I want you guys to continue to gain fans. I want Thousand Words to continue to put on events and to stay heavily invested in what's going on in this culture because he has such a huge impact. People like, you know, Low from the Desk of Low and, you know, any of these platforms that are doing this for the absolute love of real hip hop and quality hip hop, regardless of whether it's trap or drill, I don't care. Just if it's quality, I want it to stay around. And so for that, I think, you know, having relationships like ours, um, people being really invested together and making sure that we all help spread that word
Yep.
will continue to make us successful.
Yep.
As far as specifics, I want the Umbrella album.
Oh
You know,
yeah.
I want that one so bad. Um, I want to see more 90s golden era artists working with
Yep.
underground people. I credit Method Man. I credit anybody that's been talking about it. But you know, I want to see them get more involved and I think it would do a lot for their careers as well as the underground artists.
100%.
But also gaining fan base to what I love is this boom bap era kind of, you know, hip hop sound. So yeah, yeah, I'm looking forward to 2025.
um, I don't want any music to come out in 2025. I just want to listen to Oasis all of 2025.
You're
No,
grounded. You're grounded, son. That's it.
sorry, Dad. No, I love what's coming out. I love all the projects that are coming out. I love to see artists work with different artists. I want more people. I want I want a lot more people to get onto our platforms so that they could learn from these artists and be able to get excited the way we do for these artists. I want somebody to be like, hey, Steven, you just reviewed the Vega album. Fuck, I'm gonna take a listen to it. Or hey, I just listened to the Abyss podcast and all these artists. I'm getting into every single one of these artists that they're interviewing. Like, that's what I want. I want people to be able to discover this hip hop that we love. That's basically what I want. And yeah, we can want different projects from different artists working with different producers and all that stuff. That's super cool. But we want people to go to the show, and instead of having 50 people at the show, there's 100 or there's 150 or there's 200 people. I want to go to a Pro Dillinger show and there's like 400 people. Yeah, we want to keep it underground. We want to keep that sacred to our heart. We started listening to them when they started. But hey, if more and more people listen to these artists are going to grow and they're going to flourish. Okay. There's so much great music out there. Why can't why can't it be shared with everybody? Why does that person have to stay comfortable where they are and not go outside the box and be like, I'm gonna listen to this and I'll get into this artist. Oh, I listened to Mobb Deep back in the day. It's been 20 years. I haven't listened to any new hip hop because I don't think there is any new hip hop. Oh shit. This person wants me to listen to this. Good. I'm gonna go check it out and gets involved in it. Oh, Method Man was featured on the Rome Streets album. Method Man was featured on the Mickey Diamond album. Oh fuck. Mickey Diamond. I just discovered Mickey Diamond. We want more of that. We want to see them, and that's that's all I want. And I just want more live shows to come to Canada. Like, I don't look, I love traveling. I love going places. I've gone to New York, Philly. I want to come to Atlanta. I want to fucking come and hang out with you, Lukey, Primo, just to hang out because I think you guys are phenomenal human beings. And I'm not just saying this because you are here. I'm being fucking serious. And I've had conversations with Milenko about it, with Trap about it, with Derek about it. I think you guys are really phenomenal human beings. And the appreciation you show myself, Milenko, the podcast, I think, just hanging out with you guys and be able to chop it up in person and be able to show my gratitude and appreciation to you guys. I think it's very important. We live so far apart, but we are so close. And we've gained this friendship. And I am so happy for what I do. And I don't think this is a job. I think this is just super fun and super cool, and having conversations with the artists and having conversations with you guys and being able to message you and be like, fuck, did you see this? Or joke around, send memes. Like, it's fun because the world is so angry and there's so many fucking stupid people out there and angry, and there's so much hatred. And look, I'm not preaching now. I'm being straight honest with everybody. Like, I want to be able to hang out with you guys. You guys are fucking cool dudes, man. And the main thing I want to see in 2025, Lukey, you're listening. I want my fucking hoodie. I want my CD. Okay, I want that album to come out on physical. I told him I was gonna do this. I want that project to come out. Exclusive Partisans on CD. Let's go. I'm waiting for it. Where's my hoodie? Where's my CD? Invest.
I've got the design set up. You've seen them. They look beautiful.
And my Bob Mars now. Where's the music? I want the music. I can't wait for the music to come out.
I just built click tracks for our first 3 demo songs, so we're gonna start recording this weekend.
I can't wait. Before we get up out of here, you want anything you want to add, Karl?
Just that I appreciate you guys so much. You guys reignited my love of wrestling. I watched the Vince McMahon documentary because of this podcast review, and was unbelievably impressed with that documentary. But no, I really appreciate what you guys are trying to do. I love your reviews. I think you guys are very thorough. Even if I disagree occasionally with Milenko's view on something, I still respect it immensely. So, keep doing what you guys are doing.
Thanks, Dad. I appreciate you.
That's the game. We're not gonna agree with everything.
That's right.
It's fun. It's fun.
Game.
It's fun.
That's why it's fun. Yeah, that's what it's fun.
So please stick around for another couple of minutes. We're going to have Lukey Cage, hopefully, Primo Jab. We're going to have Derek, and we're going to have Trap all give a video of their top albums of the year right after the episode is completed. You can thank Milenko for taking his full day on editing, producing, and adding this shit. Milenko, I don't pay you anything, but I really care about you. So thank you for doing it. You have a bunch of other episodes to edit as we go on because we got the wrestling top of the year and all that shit.
Yes.
Boys, I appreciate you both. I appreciate what you do. The Abyss podcast, if you haven't followed them or haven't got into their stuff, please do so. What are you waiting for? They are a phenomenal podcast. They are a phenomenal brand. What they bring to the table, what they do for the artists, the underground artists, how they push these artists forward, how they make these artists flourish, how they get their names out there. Thank you for that. You're getting me into artists. You're getting Milenko into artists. You're getting everybody into artists. Primo Jab, Luki Cage, The Wiseman Karl. We appreciate you on here. Thank you so much for everything you do. And we'll be back. And boys, if you're not down with that, we got 2 words for you.
Like and subscribe.
Peace.
Thank you, everyone. Peace.
Hey, what's going on, old timers? You already know. It's your boy, your favorite co-host from Steven from the All Time Podcast, the Black Eric Bischoff, the V-Neck Lord, one half of the podcast tag team. I'm here because I'm about to give you my top 10 hip-hop in 2024. So, number 10, I got GNX, Kendrick Lamar. Number 9, I got Hattengarten Hold Up by Rome Streets. Number 8 is Everybody Can't Go by Benny the Butcher. Number 7, I got Rock Marciano, Marciology. Then I got Dirt Wave Volume 1, Future Wave and Pro Dillinger. Number 5, I got Stabbed and Shot 2, Benny the Butcher and 38 Special. Number 4, I got Bushman Bodega, Future Wave and Danielson. Number 3, I got Super Shredder by Mickey Diamond. Number 2, Across the Tracks, Boldy James and Conductor. And number 1, Penalty of Leadership, Boldy James and Nicholas Craven.
Hey, what's up, all-timers? You already recognize the voice as the greatest there is, the greatest there was, and the greatest there ever will be. Here for my top 10 hip-hop albums of the year. At number 10, we have The Kings of Dogtown by Chris the Spirit. At number 9, we have Stax Pain by Samurai. At number 8, we have Enigma with an Attitude by Ty Ferris. At number 7, we have Bushman Bodega by Danielson. At number 6, we have Dark Times by Vince Staples. At number 5, we have Gen X by K-Dot. At number 4, we have Shadowrunner by Vega 7 the Ronin. At number 3, we have The Thief Next to Jesus by Ka, rest in peace. At number 2, we have Chromacopia by Tyler the Creator. And at number 1, drumroll please, we have Lavish Language by Josiah the Gift. That's my list, everyone. Cheers.
Hey, yo, peace to the bros over there at the All Time Podcast. You know what I'm saying? Boom, Luki Cage. I realized I forgot a lot of shit. A lot of shit came out this year. And shout out to all my zingers out there. Well, let's get to this list. It's kind of like off the top of my head, boom, who I thought had the best joints. You know what I'm saying? Timing of a Tarantula by Ty Ferris. In Divine Crime. I don't even know if that's out yet. You know what I'm saying? So that's why I put it at 10. Then you have Run a Duck. You can actually go buy that right now. Run a Duck. X Peter Marksman, Run a Duck right there. Go check that out. The Text Collective printed this up. Beautifully done. You know what I'm saying? A great album. Fantastic. It looks beautiful right there. So that's number 9. Gucci Gambino's. You know what I'm saying? A Big Ghost. And Mickey Diamond, you know what I'm saying? That's a great album too. Like, boom, like everything is like, boom, in any order until you get to like 1, 2, and 3. Know what I mean? And those are my 3 favorites. So that right there was number 8. Dirt Wave 2, Future Wave, and motherfucking, and Pro. Tough album right there. One of my favorite artworks as well, you know what I'm saying? Ty Dell and V Dawn, Banned in 9 States. That shit was crazy as fuck, yo. And right next to it is Hungry Since Birth with Sauce Heist. You know what I'm saying? The Heist Life brothers really came through this year, yo. Really came through this year, yo. Boom, boom, boom. Then, I know what I'm saying, my top 4. Top 4. You know what I'm saying? Movie by Yo O Droog. Shit was great. Then you have Skeleton Key by Rock Marcy, you just dropped. You know what I'm saying? It dropped the 13th. You know what I'm saying? Boom. Incredible. Cryotherapy might be my song of the year with another song that you're going to hear in a second. Then number 2, Painting Houses 2. Last year, I thought Phoebe had the record of the year with Painting Houses 1. Painting Houses 2, Spanish Ran, and UFO Phoebe is just as good or better than Painting Houses 1. A lot of crazy, incredible features on there as well. But brings me to my number one album. You know what I'm saying? To me, and I think it's my daughter's song of the year. You know what I'm saying? Rich Ass Haitian. You know what I'm saying? By Makami. There is no other record that made me feel this way. This is one of my favorite albums ever. Yes. Play that song like 1,000 times. Rich Ass Haitian featuring O3 Greedo. The verse of the year to me is the Droog verse talking about dog rape. Rock Marciano did his thing. This is a great album, yo. So once again, let's go through it again. We have Run or Duck, XP the Marksman, Time of a Tarantula by Ty Ferris and Divine Crime, Gucci Gambinos by Big Ghost. Shout out to Big Ghost. You know what I'm saying? Boom, boom, boom. And Mickey Diamond. Then you have Dirt Wave 2 for Future Wave and Pro Dillinger. Banded Nine States by Ty the Dale. What's up? And V Dawn. Free Ty the Dale. Then you got Hungry Since Birth with Sauce Heist. Then you got Movie with Your Old Droog, Skeleton Key, Rock Marciano and the Alchemist. You got Painted Houses 2 by Phoebe. And you have Makami, Rich Ass Haitians. I didn't even put Rome Streets in there. And Derringer. What the fuck is wrong with me? You can probably pick and choose. Move them in there. Slide them in and slide them out like an abacus. Know what I mean? Boom. Great year of music. Let's see what 2025 has. Alchemist says that he's going to have a bigger year next year. We'll see. Bang, bang. Boom. Let's do it.